The Kolkata Knight Riders fans must be the most dejected fans among all the teams after yesterday's match. There were two margins that were required for the Delhi Capitals and Royal Challengers Bangalore to cross, which would ensure their qualification into the playoffs and keep the KKR fans waiting for their chance in the playoffs. But that's what the IPL is all about. We're moving into the final league stage match of the competition, and we still don't have the top four fixed for the playoffs, and that is exactly what happened as a result of Delhi Capitals' win yesterday over the Royal Challengers Bangalore. And what's more interesting is that despite RCB losing the match yesterday, they still made it to the playoffs, although they will be playing in the eliminator and not in the qualifier as per what they would have preferred. But a lot to talk about yesterday's game. Obviously, the Capitals picking up a big 6-wicket win in the context of things in the Royal Challengers Bangalore, falling to their fourth loss in a row, which has obviously dented their confidence and the momentum as they head into the playoffs. But you're watching Sportskeera's IPL series Power Play. I'm your host Prasen Magal, and along with me is our cricket expert Indraneel Basu. Indraneel, to start off, again, a rather peculiar batting performance from RCB to at the start. There wasn't anything apart from AB de Villiers and a cameo from Shivam Dube, apart from obviously that half century from Padikkal. So lots to tinker on in terms of batting lineup.
They've been doing it quite often, which is why they couldn't win those matches consistently. But great effort from the Delhi Capital bowlers, and leading from the front is Nokia. The way he bowled, got those 3 wickets, and getting those 3 foreigners in total, the fast bowlers, that made a lot of difference. And packing the batting with a lot of Indians, and Rahane and Prithvi Shaw playing together, that also added a little bit of edge over the opposition. It was a complete performance. Whenever they tried taking the match away, the RCB batsmen, the bowlers came and took those wickets. And look at the way they created that pressure on Virat Kohli. Virat was lucky to have survived when he was 30. Was a sitter which Nokia dropped, but he couldn't make much of it because Delhi bowlers were really at it. And this has been the story since last year. They have really bowled well. In few games they lost, they were all over the place, but they are really, one team, when we win the toss, they say, bat first. That's the traditional way of looking at things when you're playing at confidence. But when you have a good bowling attack, then you can restrict the opposition below 152 or to 152. I think it's a great effort from these Delhi Capital bowlers, and the kind of pace they generate. And it's not easy to negotiate against those pace bowlers. And Ashwin is also come to the party. He's also been quite consistent, getting Virat Kohli, I think, for the first time in the IPL history. It was a good, complete performance. Looked like a team who could go all the way yesterday. And this is the right time, just before the playoff, to get a win like this. And you came into this game after four consecutive
losses in a row.
Yeah. So that was a huge challenge for them to come up, and they really responded well. And against a team which could really surprise you, which has a good batting lineup. I mean, look at the lineup they have. They have Josh Philippe, you've Padikkal, you've Virat Kohli, AB de Villiers, Shivam Dube, Chris Morris. Chris Morris was not allowed to free his arm. It was a complete performance from the bowlers. Really commendable. And I hope they continue the same sort of form. The bowlers I'm talking about in the playoff stages. They are second, so they'll play the first qualifier, and they have a very good chance of making, because these wins really make you feel so better. It's just a sort of, not only the bio bubble we are talking about, it's also about the feel good bubble, which is so important to create. When you win such matches after a series of losses, and you've done well in the past, this is a great moment for Delhi Capitals. They waited for this moment for so many years. I've covered this team for so many years, and for 7-8 years they were not making it to that top 4. And for the second time in a year, in a row, they have done it, and it's quite a commendable effort. And all thanks to Ricky Ponting. And Saurav Ganguly was there last year. Before that, every player came and played for Delhi Capitals. From AB de Villiers, name any big cricketer who hasn't played for Delhi franchise. But they never managed to hold on to those players, because they always lost out on the fact that they needed some result. They wanted quick results. They wanted to be in that top four so desperately till they decided, thanks to Rahul Dravid for building this team, that you have to invest on youngsters, and that's how the Rishabh Pant, the Shreyas were purchased at the auction, and they continue to be associated with the team, and now they're reaping the benefits of trusting those youngsters. It was sort of a nursery for a lot of young people, and we've seen Prithvi Shaw also coming. I don't like him as much as others do. His batting is slightly, his style of batting is something I have a real problem with, because he plays those up-pitch drives, which we've discussed on previous shows. But overall, Delhi is looking a good side, a side which really can match up to Mumbai. Mumbai has been very clinical, even though without Rohit Sharma, they look like a side which is complete. And Rohit being there in the dugout, it's also helping the team. There are a lot of people who question that also. If he's injured, why is he there in the dugout? But Rohit is really, really doing a good job of, as a non-playing captain. I'm sure he's going to continue to bless his team if he can't play. But it's a great lineup we are seeing right now. They thoroughly deserve to be the second best team, and they are the second best team, Delhi Capitals.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about youngsters, there were two youngsters at the top of the order for RCB yesterday, Felipe and Padikkal. And in a way, it's been a problem for RCB that they haven't been able to get off to good starts. Even yesterday we saw they scored just 40 runs for the loss of 1 wicket in the power play. So going forward, they've already made the playoffs. But is that a matter of concern for them? Because both the youngsters haven't been able to get going immediately. We've seen Padikkal has notched up big scores, but he hasn't really converted them into a big knock in terms of strike rate. So is that a concern for RCB?
But this is how it is. Slow and steady would help you to win the race. That's what the saying goes. But if you compare all the openers in the first 6 overs, I think RCB will have the best average in terms of the way they have gone around and done their business. Because off late they have not been scoring regularly because they changed the opener. They had Aaron Finch before, and Padikkal is little on the slower side for sure, but he's showing a lot of. He's at least scoring over 100 strike rate, which is important. And someone needs to just go down, go out there and hang in there. It's not about hitting the ball all the time. Someone needs to take all the time in the middle to settle down, have a steady start, which is important. You can get a rousing start once in a while, but overall, if you see the picture, you have to have a steady start. And if you're rushing things, it won't happen. You look at the way Shubman Gill bats. He won't go and start hitting the ball immediately. He'll take his time, judge the wicket. That's any batsman with sense will do that. And Padikkal is a classical batsman, and he's very, very good with his stroke making abilities. Let's not take it away from him. But they have been consistent in the past. The RCB openers. Only difference is that they have played around a little with their batting order. One of the games I remember. A.B. de Villiers was made to wait, and Washington Sundar, Dubey were made to bat up ahead of A.B. de Villiers, and they had lost that game. So they've done those experiments which didn't pay rich dividends, and I hope they learn from it. And now that Philip is there with Padikkal, you better back them. And this was not a good decision to drop Aaron Finch, because he's an Australian captain. I mean, what you're playing with someone's confidence, who is a big boss in one of the national teams and a leading national team. I don't, and he knows his cricket. You don't have to teach Aaron Finch how to bat. He was doing his bit. He was not scoring, but you don't change team like when you have a captain like that. Australian captain, they're so inconsistent. Did they bother to drop Stephen Smith from captaincy? No. So it's going to be really, really important how they bat in the first 6 overs. They have done well. Let me put it. If you look at the numbers, probably they will come in top 2 or top 3 for sure. They have done well. The openers have done well, and Padikkal has been one of the most striking youngsters we have seen in this IPL, this version of. He's very consistent, and he's got so many 50s under his belt. So let's not crucify him because of being slow, playing slow cricket. And this is how it is, his game. He can't accelerate it. He's been given that position after being, he's gone through all the filters and all that to come into this, that this position of batting for RCB, opening the innings for RCB. So he's doing well. Let's not take anything away from the young man. He's doing well, and let him do well. He's now that they're in the playoff, they will have to play really well in the eliminator and think of dreaming of playing and reaching the final. So they have a lot of tasks to do, and Padikkal has definitely a big role to play in there.
Yeah, I think you have a valid point, but in my opinion, T20 cricket really needs a good start. You need to have one of the openers go big, and unfortunately, that's not been the case with RCB, and that's really hurt their cause. The middle overs batting has been very slow, and it's probably the case of lack of insurance after ABD and Virat Kohli. The batting hasn't looked good with Sundar, Gurkirat Singh Man, that musical chairs in that batting unit. But just to shift our focus towards the Delhi bowling. Ravichandran Ashwin with all his variations, he looked fantastic. He got the big wicket of Virat Kohli, and obviously Henrik Nokia got three important wickets that really set the platform for the Delhi Capitals to attack RCB's low middle order. But eventually, a few cameos did take them to 152. But how impressed were you with the Delhi Capitals bowlers yesterday?
Oh, very impressed. As I said right at the beginning of the show, and Nokia to Rabada to Ashwin, they all chipped in with their bit, and they're hunting not in pairs, they're hunting in group. So which is so dangerous for any team, and even a Bombay would be scared. Bombay, which is such an accomplished batting lineup they have, apart from yesterday's game, for instance, RCB, they have a very accomplished batting lineup. Let's not get into who's doing what, who's not doing what he's supposed to do. But overall, it's a very good team on paper, and to be able to restrict them to 152, I thought was the only bowling unit which could do it. Was Delhi Capitals. In between, as we said, they lost a little bit of direction. They were a little directionless. They were giving away runs, conceding too many runs, too much for their comfort. But now they've come back strong, and what a way to come back. They peaked a little early, but now they looked all good before the playoff, and a win just before the playoff game in the last match, last league match of their season, and then going into playoff. I think it's a great feeling inside. As I said, it's a feel-good bubble the bowlers have given to the batsmen, and they should click from here. They should make a competition out of this win against RCB last night.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Delhi Capitals bowlers, after a good show, the batsmen took over. Your favorite batsman, Prithvi Shaw, failed again. No surprises. But, Shikhar Dhawan and Ajinkya Rahane brought all their experience to the force, hit two important half centuries. Rahane top scoring. Was it a surprise, first of all, to see Rahane in that 11, considering that he isn't exactly in the mold of the T20 attacking batsman? And given the way Shikhar Dhawan and Rahane played, they pretty much out-batted the Royal Challengers Bangalore.
Absolutely. And Rahane should have played from day one in the playing 11. I don't know why he was made to sit out. And let's not get into the explosive bit too much, because Rahane started his career as a T20 specialist. Remember when he made his debut in 2011 against England, he was a fantastic batsman. He can really hit the ball. Just that he's not been given enough opportunity by Captain Virat Kohli. I remember whenever he's got an opportunity, he's made most of it. Be it 2007, 16, 17, was a regular member of T20 team. In 2016 World T20 at home, Rahane played that semi-final game. Probably he couldn't do the way he was expected to do, but he's been around. He can play. He can play shots. Let's not underestimate Ajinkya Rahane's ability. He's been around for such a long time, almost a decade. He's been around in the scene. So he's a good player, and I was a little surprised when he was not made to play from the initial games. And look at the balance he added yesterday to the side. I think they dropped Hetmeyer and got Rahane into the side, right? So that they dropped Hetmeyer, right, from the So that's a very good decision, and Rahane is going to really come good. I'm telling you, because he knows what he's doing. He's a very accomplished batsman. He's gone through a rigmarole of domestic cricket. He's gone through. He's been pushed too much by the national team in the shorter formats of the game. In fact, he's someone we could have had as number 4 for for England for the World Cup last year, 2019, because he carries a lot of experience. And I was worried about one day when the ball would seam and what would happen. You need a guy with a good technique to hang in there. It's not about hitting the ball all the time or being explosive. It's also being there, going there and occupying the crease. And Rahane can exactly do that. And why he scored yesterday, once he does that, you can easily get those boundary balls, which you can dispatch it later and improve on your strike rate, which is how any sensible batsman would do in the shortest format of the game, which Rahane did. And I'm very happy Delhi has got their mojo back and got their right combination. This is a combination they should do wonders when they play Mumbai Indians in the first qualifier.
Yeah, and the Delhi Capitals batting obviously coming to the party after a long time. Shikhar Dhawan getting back into form after 0-6, and Rahane bringing up his first half century of IPL. But that just meant that the RCB bowlers had a very, very off day. Yuzvendra Chahal went wicketless for only the second time in this IPL season, incidentally against the Delhi Capitals. They obviously didn't have 2 overs of Chris Morris, who sat out because of an injury after bowling 2 overs. They didn't have Navdeep Saini. Is this the time for them to look beyond Isuru Udana? Because he has variations, he has taken a couple of wickets, but he has also been expensive. Yesterday, he gave away 24 runs of his 2 overs. And although the spinners bowled well, the pacers probably didn't complement them, and that was a reason for their loss.
At this stage of the tournament, I don't think you have any scope for experiment, but you never know what Virat Kohli is up. What he's got up his sleeve. He can really make those changes, and he can really. He's done it. He's done it so many times, so often. But the fact that you've still, whatever you've done, you're in the top 4. You should thank your lucky stars and just stick to your talent, which is why Mumbai and Chennai have always done well. They always stick to their talent. They stick to their top players. They back their talent, and Delhi has done the same, and that's why they're there in the second best team. But RCB really need to. They showed a little bit of a glimmer of hope this year in middle of the tournament. With doing well. That was a time they were winning those games. They looked like a complete side. They still are a complete side. But the thing about cricket is you have to believe that you have a complete side. You have to believe there's no required changes we have to do. We are happy. We have the best team. We have the best bowlers. We have the best batsmen. The best fielders. So you have to have that sort of feeling. That complete feeling should be there, and it should come from the top, and it should come from the captain. The captain is always trying to find a solution, trying to fix problems here and there. It can't happen. There will be a problem. They'll win games with those little problems. There'll be a fielder. There'll be fielders who can't take those best of catches, but you still have to win those games. And the captain has to believe that confidence is the main thing. That belief, self-belief that I can do it. I can take it forward. So they should feel happy that they're the third best team probably in the competition in the league table, and they should do whatever they have to do in the eliminator and come out with the best team. And there's no time for it. Udana may have given runs, but he's also taking wickets. You have to see the positive bit of it. Right now, it's not about eliminating. It's not about because you're already playing an eliminator. It's not about leaving out the best or the worst. It's about building a team. It's very important. And you've already built a team. You've reached the top 4. Now it's time to consolidate and take it forward and qualify for the second qualifier, which is important for RCB.
Yeah, but well, 2 teams played out a rather lopsided match at the end of it. 6-wicket win for the Delhi Capitals, which took them to the qualifier. They will be playing the qualifier against the Mumbai Indians. RCB, on the other hand, will await their fate, who they're going to face. And today's match is what makes it more interesting, with the Sunrisers Hyderabad facing off against the Mumbai Indians. Sunrisers need a win. It's as simple as that. A loss will see them booking an early flight out of UAE. A win will keep them in the competition and in the playoffs, which will also mean that the Kolkata Knight Riders will miss out on that berth. But a very interesting potential choice that the Mumbai Indians can make is to rest some of the star players. So is that something you feel they might do today to make sure that their players are fresh before the first qualifier against the Delhi Capitals?
Well, you can't take these matches lightly, I'm sure, because every player, if you ask any player, no one wants to take rest. if you really want to change the team, it will be a forced change, which is you drop that player, and no one wants to get dropped before the playoff. Everyone wants to just go out there. Just imagine you want to give rest to Surya Kumar Yadav. If you go and tell him, what will he feel? He'll say, okay. I mean, he can't revolt that you're not making me play, but it's not going to be liked by any cricketer who is playing. They all want to go out there, and they haven't played cricket for so many years, and IPL. Thank God it's happening in Dubai, because India was not in a state to to host the event in Mumbai, where they had 3 stadiums like Abu Dhabi, and hopefully this. So it's very tough. It's not the right approach to rest players. They might try little things, but now with Rohit Sharma, they can't take those risks, because momentum is with Mumbai Indians, and they would love to go out there and play their natural game, which they've been doing throughout the tournament. So I don't think they would adopt such a policy. They'll be foolish if they do that. Because it's not going to take you anywhere. You have one match, you just go out there, win the game, book your place in the final. That's how they're going to look. And before the last game, before the qualifier, they'll take it as a sort of a game which is a match practice. And match practice doesn't mean you just go out there and relax and play. No, you have to be right on top of your game. You're a table topper. They would love to take that point tally to 20. The only team to do so, and that will give them so much of confidence. I don't think they'll take this match lightly. All the challenges, all the pressure will be on SRH. They've come to such a, despite having a topsy-turvy run, they were not so consistent. They're still fortunate that they are still in this kind of a position, and they should avail. They should grab this opportunity and show their best cricket. I'm sure they'll come up with something really breathtaking, something really exciting, something which will give this match a lot of spin, and it should be a good thriller for sure, because RCB, the SRH, they have a good team. They've been consistent. We want to see Manish Pandey not taking those dot balls. We want to see Manish Pandey playing with a big strike rate. It's going to be quite a match, and they have big players also. So it's a lot of excitement. I'm excited about it. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Match in Sharjah, smaller boundaries, 2 teams with big superstars on the side. SRH, obviously, they've got that intent with Saha back in the. Saha opening with David Warner.
Yes, he's batting so well. He's batting like any foreign recruit, which is look at the way he's using his feet. He's being very confident, and he's looking so good. In fact, I was telling someone, even Rahane coming into form, it's also good. Augurs well for Team India before the Test series. These runs are very important, and Saha has looked really good, and he can really put a stiff competition in front of Rishabh Pant when they pick the 11. If Saha can come good in this game and can do well in the later stages of the tournament, if they survive today, and it's about perform or perish, and Saha, I'm sure, is going to do well.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're all waiting for this match. Obviously, the last league stage match before we enter the playoffs. 55 matches done. Last league stage match, we still don't know who the 4th team going to the playoffs is. Simple equation for the Sunrisers: win and enter the playoffs. If they lose, the Kolkata Knight Riders are into the playoffs, and that just makes this match so much more interesting. But of course, a lot on the playing 11 analysis and the fantasy updates will be brought to you at 7 p.m. today as part of our Sports Kira's IPL series Power Play. But as for the review show, where the Delhi Capitals picked up a big 6-wicket win and made the qualifier to face the Mumbai Indians, and RCB losing, but eventually they will also play the eliminator against either KKR or SRH. So that's it from us for this review show. Our cricket expert Indraneel Basu and myself, Prasen Mankal. Thank you so much, viewers, for tuning in, and do join us at 7 p.m. today for the preview show of Sunrisers versus the Mumbai Indians. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye. Enjoy the match.